This is the second part of a book called Tie-Dye Disaster. So I guess we're going to find out where the disaster part came in here in part 2. I'm Miss Melissa with the Oosterhout Free Library. Tie-Dye Disaster from the Craftily Ever After series was written by Martha Maker, illustrated by Zendy Yang, published by Little Simon. So Maddie, in the center there, and her friends are about to make some colorful tie-dye. Maddie's mom, a designer and a seamstress, is working on a special suit for the mayor, but it's really kind of boring. The next day, the 4 friends met up at Bella's house. They went straight to the clubhouse and dumped their fabric finds onto the big work table. Socks? Emily held one up, raising an eyebrow. And a draw cloth? Sam added. I couldn't find anything, Bella apologized. My parents donated a bunch of our old things right before we moved. It's okay, said Sam. We can share my socks. I'll take the right one, you take the left. The friends laughed. Then Maddie got a better idea. Hey, my mom has tons of extra fabric in her sewing studio. I'll run home and look while you guys set up. After Maddie left, the others got to work. Emily gathered buckets, stirring sticks, and rubber bands. She also spread out newspapers to protect the work table. Then Sam prepared the dye. How about primary colors, he asked. Red, blue, and of course, yellow, chorused Emily and Bella, giggling. It was Sam's favorite color. Bella used her computer to research and print out an article on tie-dye that included instructions and designs. Spirals, bullseyes, stripes, rosettes. There were so many good options. Meanwhile, Maddie arrived home and discovered that her mom was out running errands. She hesitated before going into the sewing studio. Maybe I should wait until Mom comes back, she thought. But then Maddie remembered what her mom had said about the tie-dye project in the first place. So resourceful. Maddie smiled, thinking how fun it would be to surprise her mom by showing her just how resourceful she could be. Besides, her mom had been so busy earlier, there was no way she would have time to help sort through scraps. Maddie had assisted in the sewing room so many times, she was sure she could figure out which odds and ends were up for grabs. In a corner by the door, Maddie spied a shopping bag. Perfect! She grabbed the bag and quickly started filling it with fabric scraps. She also dumped her mom's rag basket and found some old clothing items she knew her mom would not mind her taking. She would return the bag and any scraps they didn't use later. From now on, she had plenty for Bella to choose from. On her way out of the room, the drawing of the mayor's suit caught her eye. Did he ask for a boring suit? She wondered. She really hoped so, because it looked like that was exactly what he was going to get. Oh, good, you're back, Sam said to Maddie. He and Emily were stirring buckets of dye. Now all we need is... Who ordered the salt? Sang Bella, returning from the kitchen. How did you know to add salt? Asked Maddie. Her mom had taught her that salt was the secret to making colors even brighter. Bella pointed to her computer. Ah, I should have known, said Maddie. The rest of the afternoon flew by. The 4 friends pinched and twisted fabric, wrapped and rewrapped rubber bands, and dipped and dunked their creations into buckets of dye. At first, they stuck to the designs they'd read about, but then they began to experiment. What would happen if they did a bunch of rosettes in a pattern, like a heart or a star? What if they did 2 spirals in the same piece of fabric, but in different spots? They also combined some of the colors of dye. Now they had orange, green, and purple, too. That night at dinner, the phone rang. Maddie raised an eyebrow. The Wilson family didn't usually get calls this late. But when Mom saw who was calling, she excused herself from the table, grabbed the phone, and stepped into the hall. Maddie could only hear snippets of the conversation. Yes, sir. Okay. Off-white, silk, French cuffs, she heard her mom say. I feel like I saw it in the bag, but I thought I'd emptied it. Yes, I'll double check. Of course, and if you find it, your office can send it over any time. Thank you, sir. Maddie's mom hung up the phone and walked down the hall. When she returned to the kitchen a few minutes later, she looked puzzled. "What was that all about?" asked Maddie's dad. "Oh, the mayor has a special shirt he wants to wear with the suit I'm making. But there's a bit of a mix-up, though. His office was supposed to send it to me, but I just double-checked the sewing room and I don't have it. And apparently, neither does he." "Can't he just wear another shirt?" asked Maddie. Her mom shrugged. "Of course, as long as it goes with the suit I'm making." Maddie felt a stomach pang, and it had nothing to do with how hungry she was. She wanted to tell her mom what she really thought about the suit, but she couldn't think of a nice way to do it. Her mom always said, if you can't say something nice, maybe you shouldn't say anything at all. Now they're unwrapping their creations. The magical mystery shirt. The next day, when school let out, Maddie and her friends couldn't get to the clubhouse fast enough. They had left all the creations tightly bound overnight so the colors could fully sink in. Now it was time for the big reveal. First, Emily grabbed her dad's old t-shirt and snipped the rubber bands, being careful not to nip the fabric in the process. She unrolled it and... everybody gasped. "Wow," said Sam. "It's like a sunset, only brighter." Maddie unwrapped the stained dress next. It was now bright blue with purple rosettes forming a peace sign. The design completely hid the ketchup stain. Then Bella unraveled the shirt that was more colorful than all the others. With its silky fabric, it looked like a shimmering rainbow. That one turned out so cool," said Maddie. "Who brought it?" "Not me," said Emily. "I just brought the t-shirt." "I just brought the drop cloth," said Sam. "And the socks. Don't forget the socks," joked Emily. "There wasn't anything for my house," said Bella. "That's why you went home to get more stuff, remember?" "It looks like it's a man's shirt," said Sam. "Maybe it's your dad's, Maddie?" "I don't think so," said Maddie, trying to remember what she had brought. She had gathered up everything so fast she wasn't entirely sure what ended up in the bag. It didn't look like something her dad would wear, though. "Well, it's a magical mystery shirt, I guess," said Sam. "But I like it. If your dad doesn't claim it, I'll definitely wear it." The others laughed, including Maddie. Then Sam revealed his pair of mismatched tie-dye socks, which made them laugh harder. As Bella was starting to hang up the mystery shirt to dry, she noticed something. "Hey, a clue! Look at the cuff." The others followed her gaze. "JBB," read Sam. "What is JBB?" "You mean, who is JBB?" said Bella. "It's a monogram. Those are probably the initials of whoever owns this shirt." "My dad's initials are RPW," said Maddie, "so it definitely isn't—" Her voice trailed off as she suddenly had an awful thought. Oh no, it couldn't be. "Bella, can you go online and do a search for Mayor Barnstable?" Maddie asked. "Sure." Bella typed and clicked and then said, "Got it. Mayor James J. Barnstable's website. What do you want to know?" "Oh, I couldn't," said Maddie. "I didn't." Her friends looked at her, confused. She almost couldn't say it. "James J. Barnstable," she finally said. "JJB. I tie-dyed the mayor's shirt." Oh boy. Let's see how they get themselves out of this disaster next time from the Oosterhout Free Library.